smiling faces here today. We have some amazing announcements for you today, some pleas for residents in the city, and just some all-around announcements. I'm going to turn things over to the mayor, and then once he's done, we'll take a few questions.
Good afternoon, and as always, thank you for joining us for our weekly press briefing. We have a few things prepared, and I'm certain that there are questions to follow on these subjects and others, so we look forward to getting directly into it. But before we get into the various items we have, I would be remiss if I didn't take a moment and ask for a moment of silence to recognize the life of Mr. Gerald Bates, one of our firefighters that unfortunately lost his life this past weekend. So please take a moment with me. We will continue to honor the memory of firefighter Bates, as well as keep his family lifted up in prayer. We ask the Lord give his angels charge concerning his family as they deal with this very difficult time. Also, with many of our firefighters, we make it a common practice to provide support for our officers, any of our city employees that may be having a difficult time coping with such a loss, and so this will be no different. Just to share some brief background on firefighter Bates, he was a veteran of the Jackson Police Department. Okay, you had police department, all right. The fire department for 9.5 years, so nearly 10 years of service to the residents of Jackson. Graduate of Forest Hill High School in 1994. Grew up in Subdivision 2 and recently moved back to the JFD Station 5. So he was a Jacksonian through and through. He was interconnected with our community, part of our family, so this is a shared loss. And I know that a number of people will be grieving at the hands of his loss. So I thank you for taking that moment of silence. Switching the page to a slightly more exciting and delightful subject, we did a call out to JPS students asking through the Solid Waste Division to do a contest, a part of the city's Stop Trashing Jackson campaign. We encourage JPS students to create art urging residents to stop littering, art that would encourage residents to stop littering across the city. And we are excited to announce the winners of that contest, and I'm going to ask if Miss Lakeisha Weathers will join me in announcing those winners. In fact, I'm going to step aside and I'm going to just shake hands after it's done, but we're happy to have y'all here. All right? Thank you.
Excuse me as I get prepared. Oh, okay. Glad I got my blue light glasses on. Okay. Good afternoon. I'm Satara Patrick, the City of Jackson Solid Waste Division Environmental Program Coordinator. I have the esteemed honor and privilege to recognize as well as reward our Jackson Public School District High School artists for participating in our Stop Trashing Jackson campaign art contest 2024. Students was asked to come up with their own design and submit meaningful art that represents the Stop Trashing Jackson campaign. The top 3 winners of this art contest will be rewarded with gift cards with a cash value of $100 for first place, $75 for second place, and $50 for third place. I will now take this time to recognize each participant. As I call your name, please come forward to be recognized and rewarded with a certificate as well as a small token of our appreciation. In no particular order would I call these names. All right. Okay, Miss Amber Caston. Y'all can clap. Here's your certificate, and you'll grab your bag.
Let's get together and take a picture with each.
Oh, okay. All right. I was going to say we could do a group pic. Okay.
As we hand them out.
Okay. Okay. Denaje Trimble. Zaylin McEntee. Oh, that's a cute top, girl. I like that top. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Ariel Brumfield. Oh. You can come in front of me and then we can get our picture. Jacayla Booley. Here's your certificate and your bag, and you can go in front of me and I'll follow you. There's so much stuff up here. Okay, now I did roll call before I started calling everybody up just to see who's here. So these people, these participants, they're not here, but I would like to recognize them as well. LaSunjay Hodge, Jordan Wilson, Jessica Wells, Hughes Parmley, okay, Deshaun McDavid. All right. Now, the moment we all been waiting for, I wanted to make this a surprise. So, the top 3 winners' art will be displayed around the city on receptacles with great efforts to beautify and help with litter prevention, where we will be partnering with the professor, Mr. Kenyatta Stewart of the Jackson State University. He's also a graphic designer, so he'll be digitizing you all's artwork. All right, and now without further ado, I would like to announce the winners of our 2024 Stop Trashing Jackson Art Contest. Please come up here and receive your award as I call your name. All right. So, Mrs. LaSunjay Hodge, unfortunately couldn't be with us here today, but they are 3rd place winner. Okay. Now for our 2nd place winner, titled Stop Trashing Jackson and Use Me, Miss Amber Caston of Merle High School. And you get a medal. And you got 2nd place. There you go. I can put it on. Oh, wait, hold on. Let me show her artwork first. This is what she came up with. Yes. All right, so our 1st place winner, this person, when I saw their artwork, I was like, oh my God, that was so amazing. So it's titled Where Trash Belongs, Miss Ariel Brumfield. And this is her artwork. Okay. Thank you all for participating, and we want to thank each parent and participant that came out. As a fellow creative, I want to encourage you all to continuously using your God-given talents that will positively change our future. Thank you.
And I also want to take a moment to thank Jack Heaton, who worked very hard with us with this campaign, as well as Jana Williams with JPS. I'm not sure of her title, but it should be Superwoman, because she worked very hard with us and the students to get this done. And we really appreciate you all's hard work. And as Satara stated, we will be using these designs on trash receptacles around the city. They will be wrapped. Starting with JPS, we're working with other businesses to make sure that your artwork is displayed. And we thank you for helping us getting this message out, and encourage your fellow classmates to stop trashing Jackson. Use those receptacles to properly dispose of their trash. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd like to thank our Solid Waste Division for their hard work, ensuring that we not only respond to trash and illegal dumping, but encouraging things like this. This is not only lifting up the creative genius of our JPS students, our best and our brightest, that we know that y'all are filled with gifts and abilities, but it's also aimed at changing this, the psychology of entitlement, right? Where people think that it's okay to just litter and drop trash, and the expectation is that someone is responsible for picking up after you. And so I want to encourage you young artists that your art is not only for the benefit of you know, the beauty that's in it and the aesthetic pleasure that we take from art. It also has an ability, right? Art is used to affect the social conscious of people. And so it has tremendous impact. And so not only when we look at the Stop Trashing Jackson campaign, when we look at, you know, public safety messaging, unity in the community, right? Things like that. There are so many ways that your art can be beneficial to where we're going as a city. And so give these young people another round of applause. Quick run through. I don't know if Director or Dr. Mohammed, I saw him outside, okay, if he wants to elaborate, but it's summertime, or summertime is just around the corner, and there are 2 areas of need for our residents at our city pool and our city pools and our zoo. We're in need of zookeepers and lifeguards, and I want to ask Brother Muhammad to elaborate on those things. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Good afternoon to all. Just as the Mayor said, the summer is approaching, and we have 2 critical needs for our zoo and for our summer pools. I will start with the pools first. I know that the pool is always an issue where the question is asked, are the pools going to be open? What's going on with the pools? And I'm glad to report to you that the Department of Parks and Recreation, specifically the athletic department, has been working very hard in getting our pools up, running, and ready to go. So the pools being open or the pools ready is not an issue. The issue is now having lifeguards to man the pools. And so we're putting out the call and asking for those who want to come forward that knows how to swim, have good swimming skills, and to come forth and be lifeguards for the city of Jackson. We're going to take it an even step further, that not only will we take care of you going to your pre-testing, but we will also pay for your certification. And after you become certified lifeguard with the city, I'm going to take it a step further, or should I say the city is going to take it a step further, and we're going to make sure that you get CPR and AED certified as well. So those would be 3 certifications that would be under your belt that the city of Jackson would take care of. And we want to thank the administration and this present council for voting and allowing that to come forward as an incentive of what we can be able to do to offer our future lifeguards. Another question was asked where that was concerned was the pay. Well, thanks to the administration and the council, once again, we've eliminated that. So the pay for the city of Jackson lifeguards now are competitive with those in the surrounding areas as well as throughout the state. So what we need are you. We need you to come forth and come and be a lifeguard with the city. You can be as young as 16 all the way up to, I'll let your imagination go from there, right? but you have to be a minimum of 16. I myself, my lifeguard days are over, so if that gives you any indication, that's only because of my schedule, not because of age, Mayor. I know you were thinking, so I was just wanting to be a part of that. So please, 16 years or older, and you would like to be a lifeguard of the city of Jackson, we need you, we want you, and I promise you, you're going to have an excellent, excellent time. Because Park and Recreation, we put the fun back in recreation, okay? And for zookeepers, everybody knows that we have the city zoo, the largest zoo in the state. This is the capital city. Zookeepers are what we're in need of right now. I know you may be asking, well, I don't know anything about taking care of animals or anything of that nature, but I got a desire and a love for it. Well, we got you covered on that, or should they say on the info commercial, wait, there's more. We will make sure that you will get trained in being a zookeeper. We just want you to have the desire to want to do it. We would take care of all the necessary training that you would need to become a certified zookeeper to work for the city of Jackson Zoo. So we're reaching out to the School of Veterinarian at Hayes Community College, some of the students at Jackson State that may be partaking in biology, and throughout the other universities. But you don't have to be a college student. You don't have to be a graduate for many of the universities. We just want you to simply have a desire to not only want to possibly create a career for yourself, but to be able to give back and help the city of Jackson. So if you have that desire, we're going to say 601-960-0471. Again, 601-960-0471. Please call anytime. I got the phone forward to my phone, so if you call after hours, you're still going to get me answering the phone, all right? My hours are from 7 a.m. to 1 a.m. Watch it, Mayor. I know you thinking again. So please give us a call. We need you to come because we're changing the dynamics of our zoo. Some of you have come to some of the programs that we've had over the past year, and it's only going to grow. We want to offer more where the zoo is concerned, but we need to be with the necessary personnel to make sure that we're caring for the animals that are in our care. So once again, you don't need to be certified, just have the desire, and we will take care of the rest. 601-960-0471. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Dr. Muhammad. You gave me several layups there. I won't take advantage of them. You know, I do want to ask, I know that we had one of our more active residents suggest that we should look at 100 Black Men and their outfit as a potential pipeline for lifeguards across the city. I'm sure we're looking at that and other resources. But I hope that you caught that. We're not only looking for people to help us, and we need help with lifeguards and zookeepers. We're investing in you. These are skills that the city, when we pay for these certifications, you can take your talents anywhere that your career has in its future. I want to say that when we look at things like helping as a zookeeper, I am familiar. I saw that Melissa gave a little look earlier, Satara, when you said the Jackson State University, the Alcornite had a problem. But I'm going to take a moment for my alma mater, and I very rarely do this. Working at a zoo sets you up for those that are interested in being veterinary doctors. That is the type of experience that will aid you as you're going along that career path. And I know that because I happen to go to Tuskegee University, which graduates more Black veterinary doctors than any institution in the world. In fact, about 80% of all Black veterinary doctors went to Tuskegee. That's astounding. So I'll just get away from that. But I know that there are many young people that are interested in being veterinary doctors, and you don't have any idea where to start, right? Maybe no one in your family has been in that career path. And so this is an opportunity to get certification, get training. You may find out that you just want to be a zookeeper, but no matter what you want to do, we're investing in your knowledge base and your understanding and getting something out of it in return. We're getting, a more sustainable workforce. So we appreciate you. Thank you, Dr. Muhammad, for those details. I know that this has been a subject that has been discussed in multiple press conferences over time, and that is the procurement process with the city of Jackson. I want to be clear that we'll be rolling out a survey very soon. I think we're aiming towards the end of this month for a survey that goes to all of the businesses that do work within the city and asking what they like, what they don't like, so that we can better measure progress and success. I want to thank Brent Westergren and the Harvard team that has been with us. I want to be clear that this administration has been doing a deep dive in understanding what has worked in this city over time and what has not worked over time, where we can see improvement. So when we engaged with the Harvard and Bloomberg teams, we did so because we've been able to develop a solid relationship over the last several years where they've aided us with the technical support in order to address many of the deficiencies across the city. And so anyone who suggested that this came by means of anything else simply isn't looking at the history and the fact that we've been in a relationship with Harvard and Bloomberg, I think, since I started. Right after I was elected in 2017, I was fortunate to be selected a part of a Bloomberg Harvard Leadership Initiative, one of the best professional development experiences that I have had, right? From that, we've also, we saw them support us on our healthy eating initiative in the Fertile Ground project that took off. We've seen them in the midst of our water crisis provide technical support. Many of the details of that aided us in our argument to the Senate appropriations in the U.S. Congress in order to get money, the historic $800 million that the city of Jackson has received that will repair our water system over the next few years. And so they've been a critical partner to us. Brent, your choice of teams is a bit questionable, but you're a good guy nonetheless. He's a Chicago Bears fan. You know, we're grateful for that support, and we look forward to those that do business in the city, understanding that we're aiming to be a business-friendly city. We also understand that as we address things like our crumbling infrastructure, our objective has to be how do we turn our crumbling infrastructure into an economic frontier. And we can only do that not just by repairing roads, repairing pipes, but ensuring that we have a strong, sound business community that benefits from that, allows for those dollars that we're investing to continue to be reinvested in our city. And so out of that, we're looking at how we improve. And at the same time, and the businesses that have dealt with me know that I'm serious about this. At the same time, we have expectations that you will do the work correctly, that you will build and you will actually be a part of that work, because if you're not, then you don't allow us to reach the end that we're seeking to reach. This isn't simply about someone as a business owner getting rich. If you do, we're pleased and we're happy. This is about how you, especially as minority, black businesses in the city, right? I tell people all the time, if 85% of your population is left-handed, then you need some left-handed jobs, right? And so when we support black businesses, when we aim to make certain that you're doing a part of the work, that it's not just pass-throughs, we're doing that in hopes that as a black business, you will hire the majority of what our community looks like, and so we can raise our people out of the generational poverty that we've continued to cycle through and through again and again. So this is important work. This may not get all of the fanfare. It may not be where all of the questions are after this press conference, but this is the deep dive that this administration feels is necessary in order to put us on a trajectory that is better than we've yet seen. So I appreciate all of that hard work, and please look for the announcement of this survey coming in the very near future. I want to make a few announcements here. We're having a town hall meeting on Tuesday, April 16th. This will be at 6 p.m. at Redeemer Church, which is at 640 East Northside Drive. Once again, that is Tuesday, April 16th at Redeemer, 6 p.m. at 640 East Northside Drive. And we look forward to residents joining us, bringing their questions, their concerns, and everything else that they feel is important to talk about. We started a segment, Melissa and I, called Ask Antar. This is a long-form segment. I fundamentally believe that 3 minutes on a city council microphone does not equal community participation, right? And so through things like town hall meetings, the people's assemblies we've been having, and the Ask Antar segment, where we're asking people to go on the city's website, which is www.jacksonms.gov. There's an Ask Antar tab. You can click on that tab. You can submit your question. You can also go on the city's various social media platforms and submit your questions there. Obviously, we don't have the time within one segment to cover all of the questions that come in, but we do maintain those questions, we do revisit those questions, and we do endeavor to go as far as we can to answer all of the questions. Many of the questions are similar, so we can combine the multitude of questions within one sometimes, but sometimes we have some very unique questions that come in, but we encourage you to speak your heart and ask what is on your mind so that we can give you the best possible answer that we can give you. Jackson Summer Youth Camps, we're excited for aspiring filmmakers and mentors, applications right now. So we started the Jackson Summer Film Camp that happens each summer. I think this is our second or third film camp. Applications are now being accepted for the Film Jackson Summer Youth Camp, open to teens 15 years to 18. 15 to 18. Kids will have an opportunity to immerse themselves in hands-on workshops and collaborative projects. The application deadline is May 1st. The application deadline is May 1st, and we had a full house last time, right? So it will be a first come, first serve type of process where we want to get you in, but once we no longer can provide the type of attention and education and programming to a bigger group, then we will have to cut that off at a certain point. So please get your applications in. We're also asking experienced filmmakers to lend their expertise to our kids and become a mentor in this project. The camp is from July 8th to July 26th. July 8th to July 26th. For more information, head to the city's website and click on the Summer Film Camp link, okay? One last announcement, and then I'm going to call up our CFO to clarify something. But we're reminding people to show your support to end sexual violence by joining us on Denim Day, which is Wednesday, April 24th, from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. in front of the City Hall South Lawn. And so Denim Day is a national effort and a show of unity to fight against sexual violence in all of its forms. And so that's April 24th from 11 a.m. To 1 p.m. at the City Hall lawn steps. What are you trying to point me to? Oh, the Ask Antar, the next one that we're having is this Thursday at 3 p.m. at the Smith Robertson Museum, and this will be our college edition. And so we've gone above and beyond to invite many of our college students. I said last press conference, we often don't market ourselves in this way, but Jackson is a college town. If you think of all of the institutions that we have, it's somewhat unusual. We have not only Jackson State and Tougaloo, Millsaps and Belhaven, University of Mississippi Medical Center, Mississippi College School of Law, Hines and Holmes community colleges. And so we're a college town. And so as we look to build the future of Jackson, we need to engage the young people amongst us, not only because they represent our future, but they represent our now, right? How they enjoy the quality of life will impact what the city looks like. And as we become intelligent about how we've seen declines in our population, not only in Jackson, but across the state, what we find is that the state of Mississippi is losing some of its youngest and brightest minds. And so we want to be intentional about questions about what your future looks like. What are you looking for out of your city? What attracts you? Things that we've learned in the past is that our younger residents don't care for a car as much as residents used to care for. And so ride share, or being a multimodal mobility city, whether you choose to ride share, take public transportation, ride a bike, ride a scooter, all of those things, we have to build the city so that we make it convenient for you in this way. As well as things like public art were also interesting takeaways from our conversations. So I look forward to this Thursday. and that will be at 3 p.m. at the Smith Robertson Museum. I know that I was asked the question, and in this clarification, I think this helps. I was asked the question by one of our reporters after the garbage contract passed, and it was a higher rate as we had predicted and unfortunately projected based on the time that it took us to get to that point. And they asked whether the rates would go up to the residents. And what I shared with them was that if the collections remain at the current level, which was about 52%, right, that we would not be able to maintain at this rate. We would have to increase our rates. But if the collection process could improve, then it would not require that. I think that there was some follow-up, and they were looking at the water rates and what they were collected at. I was asked a question about sanitation, and so the sanitation rates are at 52% collections, which unfortunately is the lowest that we've seen. The city is no longer in control of that. Jackson Water is in control of that. But to explain all of the to-knows about the collection rate and where we are, I'd like to ask if Fidelis Malembeka will come forward, our CFO for the City of Jackson, who communicates with Jackson Water on the financials on an ongoing basis. Thank you.
Well, good afternoon. I do want to offer some clarifying points relative to what the mayor just mentioned. The article that captured the mayor's statement obviously indicated that the actual percentage, collection percentage that Jackson Water has reported is higher than what the mayor shared. I do want to say this. That report that was referenced was for the first quarter calendar year, October through December. When the mayor was speaking, he was actually speaking to the most current information that was available to him, and this was through the end of January. And so numbers could be distorted when you compare those two reports. The other piece is the article narrowly looked at the collection percentage for water and sewer. As the mayor mentioned, he was referencing to the sanitation collection, which is at a lower percentage than water and sewer. The other piece is there was a comparison over the last few years in how the revenue has deteriorated for water, sewer, and sanitation. The clarifying point here is you have to understand the type of reports that you're looking at. Because this falls under proprietary fund accounting, the way the revenue is captured, it is minus the allowance for doubtful accounts. And so that number is generally lower than what the actual billing number is, and secondly, what the collection number is as well. So to get a clear picture, you have to look at three separate reports to understand what the real number should be. One is the budget to actual. The budget to actual will show you how much was billed for that time period. Then when you look at your statement of revenues, expenses, and change in net position that the reporter referred to, that number does deduct the allowance for doubtful accounts. Then to determine how much was really collected, you have to look at your statement of cash flows, which will show you how much money came through. And so for that particular year, the actual revenue for water and sewer that was collected was about $47 million instead of the $33 million that was reported. Same as FY22, the actual number for revenue collected was approximately $52 million. In the collection percentage under the city management for water sewer billing, the lowest that we got to was 72. We averaged anywhere between 82 and 85%. So just wanted to offer those clarifying points. If there are any specific questions, I'll be happy to take those. At this moment, I'll yield to the mayor.
And we can certainly make ourselves available for a deeper dive to understand that if y'all are like me. I was running through all of my math and statistics classes and trying to figure out if I could better understand the accounting that Fidelis was speaking of. But we'll open ourselves up to this. And I just want to let you know why this is important. First and foremost, if I ever misspeak, I stand before you and tell you that I have misspoken. I'm not infallible like any of us, and so there have been occasions that I have spoken incorrectly. This wouldn't be one of those. This would be one that desires more clarification because, one, you need to know the question that was asked me. The question that was asked me was about sanitation and sanitation costs, and that is what I responded to. Secondly, the reason that this is important is that I will say it, I've said it before and I'll say it again. We are the biggest champions and supporters of Jackson Water because we need for them to get it right. We need for our water system to be more reliable in distribution. We need to end the cycle of residents having to deal with interruptions and all of the challenges that flow, no pun intended, from those interruptions. And so that's why we're supporting, and we want to see it through to the end that they do the corrections to our system appropriately and equitably. But at the same time, when I know residents that have suffered at the hands of water insecurity for 30 years plus, I want to make it clear to anybody who has proximity, who has agency over our water system, that we're going to hold you accountable. We're going to make sure that you listen to the voices of residents. We're going to make sure that we have a proper scale of progress and not just pay for advertisement to give a different narrative of what's going on, right? Because we want to make sure that if we're looking to build past where we've been over the last few years, that we have a proper marker of what success looks like. And so what we see, to be honest, what we see is operating under a different guideline. Now that the city of Jackson doesn't have control, right, when we see an interruption, instead of saying that this is due to decades of neglect, of repairs that need to happen and over time, then we charge things like the residents filled their bathtubs all up at the same time, right? And when they filled up their bathtubs, that pressured the system. My father used to say this, and then I'm done. He used to say, you got to give the people more credit than that, right? The people of this city know when they've experienced bad weather that there is a propensity for there to be challenges with the water system. And so when you say things like that, then what you're fighting against is the 30-plus year history of what they've experienced and what they know to be true. And so we're going to support you if you have agency over our water system, but we are going to hold you accountable and make sure that you give truth, that we'll tell no lies and claim no easy victories in this process. With that, ready to take your questions if you have them. Yes, sir.
I had one, but also the reporter on that story you were talking about. I wanted to ask, how can sanitation be lower than water and sewer all day at the same time?
Number of reasons. You can come forward. One is that every water customer isn't one who deals with sanitation. There isn't a direct one-to-one. So he's looking at his water bill and understands that he has both sanitation and water on his, but he's not a business, for instance, which does not have sanitation costs associated to them because they get commercial sanitation. So it's not a one-to-one. That's one reason, is that every bill isn't the same. So that we can start there for him. But if you want to, that's it? All right.
My question was just if there's any update on the Public Works Director and your thoughts on the suggestion to outsource.
Yeah. Well, let me say this. I'm going to give you a little secret. Half of the things that you hear up here when they say, I have an idea, it's because they already know that we're in conversations about those things. And it's an effort to push politically that we go ahead and enter into one of those agreements. As an administration, we're going to be thoughtful. We have not dropped the ball with any of the projects that Public Works has going on now. We're going to be thoughtful of what puts us in the best position to not only get projects accomplished, but to hold contractors accountable for the work quality that we need, right? And in doing so, we have to be measured in which direction that we go in. Unfortunately, the city of Jackson is not untouched by the international challenge within the workforce of getting workers and competing for positions. I can tell you that there hasn't been a shortage of interest. We have candidates that we've been listening to for the Public Works Director position. We just hadn't settled on what we believe to be the best direction forward. It is possible. It is quite possible that we might go into an augmenting contract with a engineering firm, but it has to be a contract that fits the objectives that the city has. And so that's why that was suggested, is because just like the contractors talk to us, they talk to the council, right? And so that wasn't an original idea, if you follow where I'm saying. All right. Thank you. Yes, sir.
I have a few questions for Dr. Muhammad, I think would be best to answer this, and then Keith.
How about you shoot for me first, and then we're going to let him walk up.
So tomorrow's council meeting, there's an agenda item approved that will spend $1.5 million on renovations and upgrades for Italian Mara.
Thalia. I know you're not from here. We're not going to persecute you. Yeah.
Can you expand on what those are? Is that for the ADA compliance or?
So I will answer your question as best I can. So first of all, for those that couldn't hear, his question is that there's an agenda item for over $1 million for improvements at Thalia Mara Hall, and he wanted me to elaborate. Charlie, I'm certainly aware that we have ADA accessibility, namely the elevator, and making sure that that is improved. We don't have a representative from Human and Cultural Services, because that wouldn't be Muhammad, to answer that question more thoroughly. But we can provide what other things will be addressed by that upgrade. I will say that it's a sound investment. One of the things that we don't shout to the rooftops is the fact that Thalia Mara, over the last few years, has had its most successful years in the history of Thalia Mara Hall, in terms of ticket sales, in terms of people wanting to be out and about and enjoying the events that we put on. Now, do I believe that there's room for improvement? Absolutely. One of those areas is in the concessions, right? I think that there's money left on the table and an experience that we have not provided to our residents. And once we shore up what happens with concessions and other improvements, then I think people will walk away with an even better experience. Just as we're trying to do surveying with our business community, one of the things that I've talked to the Human and Cultural Services Director about is how we start surveying residents about the quality of service that they receive. So if we have senior citizens going to our senior facilities, we want to know what they take away from that, right? We want to know how they feel about their experience, and not just an adult babysitting campaign, but actually programmatic things that they enjoy, right? That they know that they are part of our community, that we want to make sure that they're enjoying their experience. Same thing with Thalia Mara and the other public-facing things that we do. And so that's what we're doing. Yes, ADA is certainly something that we're working on at Thalia Mara, but I don't have an exhaustive list of everything to be worked on as I stand here before you.
Okay, this seems, and I've read past reports that it seems like the city spends money on getting more to ensure further ADA compliance. Like there was one in 2014 and another in 2017. So has it ever been ADA compliant?
Well, I mean, like anything, buildings break down, right? 2014 to 2024 is 10 years, right? And it's an older building. And so one area of ADA compliance may be sound today, and we're working on another area. And then tomorrow, the area that was once okay is no longer okay. Did the elevator used to work? I can assure you of that because I've ridden it, right? It's just not, it's not operable at this time. And so we've been in compliance in the past, and you know, we continue to work to make sure that we maintain and the upkeep of our facilities so that we continue to be compliant. I'll speak to it.
Yes, I just wanted to respond to your question about the funding for Thalia Mara. These funds actually have already been appropriated by the state. This is simply the execution of a memorandum of understanding in how those restricted funds would be spent for that project.
Well, no, forgive me. I'm thinking about the Art Center at the moment. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Oh, I thought you were off the hook. I thought his question was human and cultural, but he got one for you.
Tag it up. First of all, I'm not here to answer any questions, but no, I'm just teasing. Yes, sir.
Tell us exactly how much lifeguards and beach crew will be getting paid.
Yes, sir. For your basic lifeguard is $15.50. For the pool manager, it'd be $1,750. And for zookeepers, that is negotiable.
And if you can't get zookeepers or lifeguards signed up, is there any concern that pools and the zoo won't be open this summer?
No, sir, that won't be a concern, because you and I will man it, make sure everything is straight, and we'll enlist some less. No. There we go, right there. No, sir, we're not to the degree to where anything will be shut down and we won't be able to offer those services. And that's why we're making an appeal now, so it won't even get close to that point. Thank you.
Anything else? All hearts and minds satisfied?
What do you think of the eclipse?
I didn't see it. Yeah, I didn't see it. I mean, I'm glad that we hadn't experienced any, acts of nature like the city of New York. That's what I'm happy of, right? And pray for those people. Again, thank you all. I want to, if we could close again by recognizing our JPS students, give them another round of applause. Thank you. Wish everybody a safe, productive, and beautiful week. Thank you.